and that will be sent out later on this afternoon. So if you want to go back and reference anything that Steve and Carla covered during the session, you can certainly do that. Also attached to that recording is going to be a questionnaire. We're always seeking your feedback with our students and alumni here at WGU. And a lot of our sessions are based off of your feedback. So that's something that we certainly would appreciate. It's 2 questions, should take you no more than 2 minutes. I'm actually going to share that in the chat during the session. Another thing I would certainly encourage you to do in the chat is, take advantage of this opportunity. One, to learn about the opportunities that our presenters have, but also to network with each other. There's an opportunity here where you have a lot of people with similar interests. So I would certainly encourage you to build out your professional network, connect with each other, share your LinkedIn in the chat. Great opportunity there to connect with people from all around the country that are either students here at WGU or alumni. So another thing with questions, just make sure, hey, there are quite a few people in the session, so make sure that the questions are geared towards the entire group and not just you, the individual. So keep that in mind as you're going through and you're asking questions for our presenters. This is a Career Quest session, so if you have attended some sessions previously, fantastic. If this is your first one, Career Quest will go through the remainder of this week and into early next week. So great opportunity to connect with some different employers and ask them questions that you all might have. So from here, what I am going to do is I'm certainly going to stop talking and I'm going to pass it over to our 2 presenters. Steve and Carla, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for the floor and for my first performance. No, I will not dance for you, but I do wish to welcome all the folks here. Thank you so much. We were excited to do this. We didn't have anything necessarily planned in terms of the deck, but wanted to give you an overview of Edgewater Federal Solutions and what it is that we do, the passion that we have, right? And hopefully opportunities. We have been successful in working with folks who have attended and students and alum from Western Governors. I think that RJ reached out to me not too long ago because of that impact that the program has had and the success that we've had with finding folks to join us. A little bit about myself. I have been involved in technical recruiting now for goodness, the last 15 years or so, at least on the commercial side, meaning outside of agency. I started off doing recruiting and account management with accounting and finance professionals before joining the private sector and supporting commercial customers for information technology. Been with Edgewater, it will be 6 years in September. And we've grown from a little 145 person shop to nearly 600 employees. Now, a lot of that has to do with my partner, Carla Mondragon, who heads up recruiting efforts along the West Coast, mainly in New Mexico. And I'll turn it over to her for an introduction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It seems like everyone is from here and there and everywhere. Hope you guys are enjoying kind of the end of spring, start of the summer seasons and all the crazy weather. Steve and I talk about weather every day because he's in Maryland and I'm in New Mexico and we have very different climates. Welcome, everyone. I have been in technical recruiting the entire time. I started out in a retail capacity and did that for 10 years. And I really love to help people, and give great customer service. I just don't like working nights, weekends, and holidays, right? So moved over to recruiting. I love to help people here find jobs, which is important work where we spend more time than we do with our own families. I've been in technical recruiting for the last 8 years. I've almost been with Edgewater for 4 coming up now. It's a great company to work for. We support, right, a little bit about Edgewater and us. I can move into that, Steve. We are a medium-sized company. We're based out of Frederick, Maryland. We support federal contracts. They're primarily on the Department of Energy side, but we also support the Department of Defense and Department of Justice. So like FBI, we have a ton of contracts out there on the East Coast. a lot of fun acronyms. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I can't say all of what all of them stand for. Steve is much better at that than I am. We also have been voted one of the top places to work for the last 8 years running by the Washington Post, which is pretty exciting stuff as well. As if you guys saw in the chat earlier, I am here in Albuquerque, sunny and warm Albuquerque, New Mexico. Steve and I were in El Paso last week, so we are happy that it's not as hot as it is out there at another recruiting event. What kind of questions can we answer for you guys today? Do you want to learn more about us? How can we answer some of the questions you have today, or share some of the great opportunities that we have?
And a reminder to everyone. Yeah, I would.
RJ.
Yeah, I would say post those into the chat, and we can dive into those. One question that I have just right off the bat is what type of opportunities are you all really aiming to hire for, and what are some qualities that you ultimately look for when you're going through the process of hiring individuals? So like what really stands out to you?
So on these contracts, we support a variety of different information technology roles, and they're all specifically information technology roles because that's what Edgewater does, right? We support everything from help desk, networking, telecommunications, systems administration, software development, project management, DevOps, cybersecurity, database, everything in between. Really, from a technical capacity, I see a couple of questions here in the chat. So all of them do have, education as well as experience requirement. I do see what entry-level positions we have for cybersecurity professionals. We do have some SOC, what is it? Security Operations Center, all our fun acronyms, right? Security Operations Center, SOC analyst roles for some of the entry-level folks. They're all different kinds of shifts because security doesn't sleep, right? It's usually a 24/7, 365 operations from that perspective. And they have day shifts, night shifts, midday shifts, morning shifts. From a cybersecurity professional perspective, there are a lot of different ways to get into cybersecurity as well from a networking side. I guess to answer that first question we have, I would say to get into the networking space because you understand where the vulnerabilities lie and how to really understand where cybersecurity can be impacted from the network side, right? Because cybersecurity is kind of ingrained in every piece of IT that we handle. And as far as entry-level positions, like I said, there are entry-level positions in all of those: end user support, help desk, networking, telecommunication, as well as lower-level systems administration and cleared roles. We do work with clearances, which is something as well. We all of our employees, we are consulting, but not necessarily, because our employees are full-time employees. We have benefits, right? We have full benefits, medical, dental, vision, 401k match. We also have, other cool perks and benefits. We have 15 days of accrued paid time off, sometimes 16. It really depends on which contract you're supporting, honestly, and how that works with what they have set up. We also observe federal holidays, and they vary depending on where and what you're supporting, right? We have other great perks and benefits that we have in the flyers that we shared, but just to mention them, we have $5,000 of technical training and tuition reimbursement per calendar year. So that includes professional memberships, subscriptions, affiliations, continuing education, certifications, things like that. We also have a cool $360 annual exercise benefit, whether you're going to the gym, buying home gym equipment, new gym shoes. Steve bought a smartwatch. I go to yoga. We use ours for very different things. There have been folks who have bought, tennis ball launchers, all kinds of different. You'd be surprised at what we can encompass with that. We also have a $150 home office benefit. Not that all of our jobs are remote, some are not, right? Like every job. But to benefit your home office, whether you need a printer, a monitor, a desk chair, a mouse, headphones, which I need all the time and what we do, right? Things like that. And after 1 year of full service, we do offer a technical device, tablet, or laptop that is approved of your choice, $500 towards that. Steve, do you want to
Thank
do
you.
you have
Yeah.
any opportunity?
Thank you for thank you for that. And I'm looking at some of the questions in the chat. What's an entry role? So typically, many of our roles require some level of education and experience. However, there is an entryway, most of which is supporting one of our clients in New Mexico. Unfortunately, those positions are on site. So for those who are not in the New Mexico area within Albuquerque, it would not be ideal because they just don't have many opportunities. There's been a significant change in supporting federal work, and there's been a big push for return to office as well. And so the expectation would be uh, more than likely to anticipate having to work on site or in a hybrid situation, meaning where you can get to an office within a reasonable time frame. That's typically how we like to explain it to folks. You know, this landscape 2 years ago would have been different. We were remote. We were doing all these things, but those have all changed. So we just want to set the right expectation. Also, for cybersecurity, we currently have an internship program, but as of now, I think we got on a little late. Those things are filled, so please stay tuned for future. We'd be happy to discuss those opportunities for you in the future. Uh, Entry for cybersecurity typically means a degree within the cybersecurity field, a bachelor's. And the entryway would be an incident response. So we do have some opportunities for incident response. Those positions currently are remote, however, with the caveat that you may have to be returning to work, which is in Bethesda, Maryland, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. So I think that you probably, and I'm curious to ask you folks there as well, what are you seeing in the market in terms of return to office initiatives? So those are some entryways. Carla, you touched on consulting. I want you guys to think of us as, many of you have heard of companies like Northrop Grumman or SAIC or GDIT. All those companies are similar in their service in providing some type of solutioning, but we're not necessarily consultants. We are contracted for a period of time, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years for a contract. And all of our roles are within technology, as Carla explained, the full gamut. Clearances. Clearances are not necessarily required on all of our contracts. On some, an absolute must. So, for example, we support the Federal Bureau of Investigations. You have to have an active top secret. What have we done in the past for the right candidate? We have sponsored that clearance, meaning you continue to work where you work for the amount of time it takes for the clearance itself to be adjudicated, anywhere from 6 months to 12 months. So we would not encourage you to leave a job to take a job because we would not keep you on a bench for that amount of time. However, if you are the right fit and you want to go and pursue, you can do that. Another large contract, we put you through the process. So we hire you as non-cleared. You must be clearable. I never want anyone to disclose any of this information. However, I wish to prepare you as to what it looks like to be able to be cleared. First, you must be a U.S. citizen. Second, in order to get certain levels of clearances, you may have to renounce dual citizenship. Okay. Third, anything that is an arrest in terms of and a large amount of debts, and then any use of a illegally or controlled substance. And in the federal government, that does include cannabis. So I said, I'm not going to ask any of you, but surely be aware that those are the things that you would be expected to be able to get through in order to
Some
achieve.
other things also are any bankruptcies or delinquent debts or any felonies or misdemeanors aren't really favorable in that area as well. But that is not limited to everything that it requires for a person to get a clearance from that perspective as well. A lot of jobs that we have do, like, I would say it's 50-50. They require you to go in and be clearable, and the others do require you to get a clearance once you're in the clearance club, so to speak. The federal opportunities open up a lot wider. There's a little bit more opportunity, and you can actually go from Department of Energy to Department of Defense clearances. They can be interchangeable. If you're not familiar with that, Department of Defense clearances are top secret and secret clearances, right? Those are what we hear about probably the most often, just in general, terms. And then Department of Energy is L or Q clearances. So an L is equivalent to a secret and a Q is equivalent to a top secret in that specific area. Yeah, we do have, I see cyber internship roles. Steve kind of talked about that. We do have some, unfortunately, internship season just kind of passed. There are sometimes remote entry level roles as well. Sometimes you have to be within a certain area or not. And this is this is a silly thing, I guess, from a relocation perspective. For the right candidate who has the best experience, we don't necessarily have a relocation bonus, but we have a sign-on bonus that can be up to a certain amount to help folks relocate versus a relocation bonus, which is very specific in terms of what our HR likes us to share, right? Having an active clearance does not improve your consideration for jobs, but for certain positions that do require you to have a clearance going in, it will absolutely give you, the minimum qualification. And sometimes having a clearance is helpful, in being considered over other candidates, sometimes for uncleared jobs, because it will help you be able to get into the meat and potatoes of your job, so to speak, a little bit easier. Let's see. What if you're currently completing
Serena, yeah.
but in
Can I
6
answer
years?
Serena's?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Serena, that is typically when we talk about what we do, every contract is a little different, meaning the requirements. So, for example, with the contract that Carla supports, a bachelor's is equivalent to 6 years of experience. So, if you do not have a bachelor's degree, you must show that you have 6 years of relevant work experience to meet the labor category for experience to qualify for that job.
Or vice versa, if you have a master's degree, that's 10 years of experience as well. That can account for years of experience, which you guys are all, on the path there at Western Governors. So.
Yes. Linda, does coding skills and coding boot camp count? Carla, you want to take on what counts, at least for our big contract?
For our big contracts, they can be considered experiences. So I know everyone's kind of asking about that. I would say education and experiences are synergy, right? Are older workers transitioning to IT given serious consideration? Absolutely. We are recruiters. We are not dream crushers. It is never too late to start a new career or a new degree, or let's say, folks who have already had a degree in music or something that they were really passionate about when they were much younger, and then they realized getting into the workforce, oh, hey, this isn't really helping me be in the field that I want to be in and pursue my career aspirations and getting to a higher level. I've worked with a lot of unhired folks from Western Governors University who is kind of their like second go at college because their first degree wasn't really relevant to what they want to be doing currently in their professional career, and to get that degree, it helped them advance right there at Western. I actually know several people who have gone up to the master's level through Western Governors, or that I've hired, right? We are absolutely giving folks equal consideration no matter who it is. We do get asked this question a lot, so I'm just going to say it. We do not use AI to have them read our resumes. The tools I use are these eyes, and I go through your resumes personally to look at each and every one of everybody's resumes. That is not a thing that we're doing, at least at this time in our company, right? Does having coding skills from a coding bootcamp count? It can count. It depends on what you're doing, but I would try to get experience. Experience and education are a synergy. Like they go together and help you be more successful in the career field of your choice. Do we have offices in Michigan, Steve?
Only when I'm there. No, we do not have offices in Michigan, but I have family that's there. We are headquartered in Frederick, Maryland, suburbs of Washington, D.C. / Baltimore. For all those who have been here, you know, we're just kind of squished into this neck of the woods. Operations and offices in Germantown, Maryland, as well as Washington, D.C., Albuquerque, New Mexico, Pocatello, Idaho is where we currently have space, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Someone was asking about certifications, et cetera. I'll just kind of read through. I was going to send a list, but it's really only relevant for one of our major contracts. But typically, we have what's called a talent capacity model. So you're able to have certain certifications in how it relates to experience. So on our large contract, if you have an ITIL, if you have a CompTIA A+, Microsoft 365 fundamentals, Security Plus, Network Plus, Red Hat Admin, RHSA 1 and 2, or Certified Scrum Master. Those are equivalent to 3 months of experience. Next level up would be things like AWS, the GICSP, which is the Global Industrial Cybersecurity Professional, Linux Essentials, and Red Hat Sysadmin 3 are worth 6 months. And then the 12 months would be the CASP, which is the CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner, the GAIC, the CISSP, which or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So those types, or PMP, those will be equivalent to a 12 or 1 year year's worth of experience.
That's great. Yeah, we love all of them. We love all the certifications, and they do count as experience.
Woohoo,
I mean, we
Gina.
love everything. The CompTIAs, right? A plus, Network Plus, Security Plus, the CCNAs, the CISSPs, the PMPs. You know, speaking all all of the certification languages. Even in IT, we love our acronyms just like we do at the federal level, right? FBI. So we have a presence in Huntsville, correct, Steve?
Correct. So we do support the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Huntsville, Alabama. The problem right now and all the stuff that you see here is that that building is not quite done yet. So we are literally out of space in Huntsville. So when we hire for that data center, we have to consider their location in Pocatello, Idaho, or the other one is in Clarksburg, West Virginia, which is outside of Morgantown. So it's in the mountaineer country. So if anybody likes the wild and wonderful, which is their state slogan, West Virginia, there's opportunities for you there as well.
I had two quick questions. First one, could you just talk about the culture at Edgewater would be the first one, and then the second one, you know, we had mentioned that you all have hired WGU graduates before. If you know, like, what type of positions have you hired for positions have you hired WGU graduates for?
I'll look for the latter. Carla, you want to give the culture? And I'll see if I can pull up a quick.
Yeah, I have been working with Edgewater for 4 years. I came in 2021 when everyone was still working remotely. It was very different climate than the workforce that we have right now. You know, we started as a smaller business, so we still have a lot of great aspects of that smaller business feel. I'm like, it's cringy to say that that your team is like you know, like a family, but in a lot of well, it is. It's a little cringy to say, but in a lot of you know, our teams at Edgewater work beautifully together. People truly care about people. As somebody who shares what we do every day from a benefits, culture, opportunity perspective, I feel good to come to work every day here and share what we have, because they truly do the right things for their people and care about their teams, and things like that. They try to do the right thing for people, which I can say is not all companies I've ever worked for, and I love working here. I can't say anything. This is W-2s. I do see the 1099s. This is not C2C. This is not that kind of contracting. Like I said, we have benefits and things like that. So there is no 1099. You are not an individual contractor. There are very few cases to where we allow folks to do 1099s, and you have to sign a contract, and it's a fun, super long process. And then Steve,
I'm
we've
doing it right
hired
now. I'm typing in. Yeah,
like
hold on
senior
just a
systems
second.
administrators. I know I've hired one specifically. I can say that skill set for sure.
Mhm.
From Western Governors University, I've hired folks with software engineering, computer science degrees from there. What else, Steve? Are you looking? I feel like he's looking at
I
analytics.
am, and if you're in the chat, I presented these titles because we have a database and I know how to use it. Yay me. But anyway, I did a search of Western Governors University and then our employee search, and those are some of the titles that we've hired: senior Java programmer, service desk technician, Windows desktop, network admin, cybersecurity. Just ran one that says WGU instead of Western Governors, and I came up with network field tech and SOC analyst as well. So it's kind of the gambit, right? So for many of you, you probably have some level of experience, right? You go back to finish your degree in order to learn more about the field, and it will help you in these opportunities to get these jobs where we even do an encouragement. We actually have our managers who help our employees who are want to grow and how they use that $5,000 that we offer as a benefit for education to go to WGU to study a certain level, because you can do it on your own time, right? And the relevancy is that it translates into the type of roles that we hire and that you would be qualified to take. Culture. You can probably tell we're pretty stoic. We're pretty buttoned up. We don't have any fun. People come here and like, why, Steve? You're. I can't believe how professional you are all the time. We have a fun time.
Wow, you guys,
Easy,
he's
easy.
really hard right now.
But I think what you see is what you get. We are inclusive. We are creative. I spoke, Carla and I were on a call earlier. We hired someone. She's on her 90th day. I asked her how she was doing, and I thought this was wonderful. She said, I make suggestions and I ask questions, and I'm never told no. I have a certain level of autonomy that I kind of have a blank slate. Uh, and not all the positions are like that, because we have a mission. But I think what you'll find out is that you will be heard, you will be valued, and the expectation is that you will contribute and feel good and worthy. So we do a lot of work that is in the for the best interest of our country. There are some things that we do that have a level of clearance required. That is, quite frankly, national security. It's important stuff. So those types of things are important as well, knowing that you're doing something good for the country and our clients. So that's pretty cool. And we do a lot of outreach to local community. In Albuquerque alone, we have set up a foundation that has given hundreds of thousands of dollars, as well as build STEM programs and opportunities for folks in the Southwest. We have a partnership that we do with the Cal Ripken Association in Maryland in building STEM programs around the Frederick, Maryland area as well. So we're out there. We like to make sure that if you're not in our office in Maryland or Washington or Germantown or Albuquerque, that you're involved. So we're doing strict team meetings, right? We're doing events. Today we had a lunch break. So my whole team gathered from all over the country, and we just talked and caught up for a half
Do
hour.
trivia
And yes,
all the time, you guys, about
trivia.
everything.
And some people even turn on their cameras when they're eating. Fun. Some turn it off. But That's important for us, for the culture. We want folks who want to be here and who want to contribute. I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions for us?
As people are coming up with some more questions, just a reminder, session is being recorded, so Steve and Carla just went through a ton of information. So if you want to go back and reference anything that was shared, I would certainly encourage you to do so with that recording. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that questionnaire in the chat, and certainly would appreciate your feedback. And we'll certainly give you opportunities here to ask any other questions that you might have for Steve and Carla.
Rosa, where are you? You said you're 3 hours from Albuquerque.
We were just, like I said, in the southern part of, well, I was driving through the southern part of New Mexico to go meet Steve for our job fair, right? I did just see you, Dwan, and your message on LinkedIn. Thank you. We can work for a time to connect. We do not, I keep getting asked if we have positions in Florida, and we were actually asked that all last week at our job fair. We are looking to expand out there, but yeah, we have seen a ton of those questions, right, Steve, asking about Florida.
Yeah. And you know, take a look at our website, because it should list where the positions are. It might say remote. And if you are in Florida, the expectation would be, if you can work remotely, that you'd work the schedule wherever the contract is. If it's West Coast, your expectation would be that you're probably going to work from 8 in the morning until 5 or 6 in the afternoon Mountain Time. So for people on the East Coast, that means 10 to 8. So I tend to work more of those hours because that's where we do a lot of work. But for Carla, you know, once every other week when we have this all hands meeting, she's got to be up at 7:30 her time. No, it's not necessarily early
I'm up
for
at
a lot of folks.
my time all the time because my lovely East Coast team is up, right? They're up and they're ready to go. It is 9:30 for them when that's going on for me.
Now, granted, I'm no saint, but I try my best not to bother her before 10 Eastern. No guarantees.
True. What else? What other questions do you guys have for us?
I have one. You know, especially with individuals working on remote teams, how and you know, you've kind of touched on it with, you know, the interacting between, you know, the lunch break, but is there something specific that you all do to try to bring teams, especially in that remote setting, together? Is there something specific? Do you meet quarterly, maybe to meet in person?
You know,
How does
we
that work?
do have an annual meeting as a recruiting team that we have been able to have the last few years, that have really helped us come together and have that camaraderie since I've been working here. So we'll see how that continues, but we do try to get together. We have team events. Sometimes there is travel. They have events here. Sometimes they make exception for us to go to events out on the East Coast. So to keep that team aspect, we really try to meet at least once a year, but we'll see how that continues as we grow.
Yeah, and that's a that's I think is something that's really important. And if there's an opportunity that we cannot necessarily get everybody together, we will do those things virtually. I try my best to ensure that I get out and see everybody on my team. So most of my team is local. Carla's out west. I have another. It's in North Carolina. So we try and gather at least once annually, and then also, you know, we have these other events. So, for example, where Carla supports, we have a couple hundred folks that work there. So they do things like they go to Topgolf, right? Or they will have a picnic. We have had end of year casinos, so celebration of those sorts of things. Balloon Fiesta. If you've never been to Albuquerque in October, I highly recommend it. So those are some of the things that we do to ensure that folks are together. hiring events. For example, we're doing this virtually, but others on the team, depending on where we are geographically, will attend. Carl and I will be in Las Cruces at the end of October as well, in support there.
We need to sign up for that now that we just talked about it, huh?
Yes, we do.
But yes, and thank you. I do see all of I'm going as fast as I can to accept everybody's LinkedIn request. Thank you guys for your engagement. We love to see it, love to hear it. What other questions?
Gina says, I don't see any project or portfolio management positions in DC. So currently, we've got a couple of proposals that are out. So if you see something that says program manager, and if you're interested, I'm managing those efforts. So really what we're looking for is in Chicagoland, we're looking for someone who's got program management specifically within a service desk, meaning a large call center, because they are driven by metrics, and they are also timely type of roles that has a certain level of management experience that would be helpful. ServiceNow is a hot button for us as well, Gina. We've been successful in finding folks who are process analysts as well as developers. Various models. That's been a big thing for us as well.
So you mentioned, this is Gina. You mentioned Chicago. I don't want to relocate to Chicago. I'd rather go back to.
Why not? You could be the sausage king of Chicago. Sorry, it's a bad reference to a movie.
We're East Coast, but anyhow, yeah, I'm looking. I would be open to relocating to either New Mexico or Colorado or DC area. I have over 20 years of program management. I do have a master's in computer science. So I'm just trying to see. I retired from federal service. And
Okay.
so I mentioned.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I noticed earlier I posted that I was a core contracting officer's representative, but in DOD there's no certification. So it is listed on my resume. Hopefully that will suffice. But because you manage the program management positions, should I send you my resume then?
Thumbs up.
All right, consider it done. Thank you.
What defense contractors do we currently work with, Steve?
Currently, on the defense side, gosh, things have moved around. Outside of justice, we don't do an awful lot currently in defense. We did previously as a subcontractor. A lot of our stuff is in energy, as Carla said, in Justice Department, and also in HHS at the NIH. So we do have a large cyber effort that we manage for the National Institutes of Health. And interestingly, in this time of government efficiencies, we've been fortunate that there hasn't been much effect on that particular program, which has been, quite frankly, in the media a lot. But we're likely going to be growing that effort for that contract. Nothing NASA yet, Curtis.
Not yet, right? Yet it's the operative.
Not yet. So we have pivoted in moving from just energy, where we kind of started and where we built the business. And we have a focus also on health and defense. We also have a new sector president that's going to be focusing on homeland security. So more to come, over the next several months as we pursue and expand our footprint outside of what we're doing.
What else? What else do we have?
I hope this was informative. We didn't want to do anything that was necessarily script it in on a a spreadsheet. I think that asking questions and being able to respond to them in real time provides you more relevant information rather than watch us play softball as a team or something, you know?
And
It's
I'll be
I
honest, I think most of us here at WGU prefer the opportunity to, hey, like, here are the questions that I have, and you all have done a great job just answering those. It makes it easier, and you're able to get the information that you came here looking for. So we certainly appreciate you all sharing those insights.
You guys might appreciate this. Yesterday, had a person I was discussing an opportunity with, and he spent several years, 8 years in the Air Force, and he left the Air Force to start his civilian career. Took his GI money, went to, as he calls it, the Ohio State University. I'll leave it at that. If anybody's an Ohio State fan, good for you. But he was at the Ohio State University. What he didn't like was he was at an age that he was older than most of the population there. And secondly, the coursework in the curriculum didn't really align with his expectation of delivery. So he enrolled and is finishing his degree at Western Governors University that allows him to work, right? And take the courses that he needs in order to be successful in a time frame that makes sense to him. So for you guys, take advantage of that. I think that's a great opportunity. We're moving from the traditional brick and mortar to something that makes much more sense for people and how they live. And we are receptive of that. And clearly we promote it. That's why we're here today. And also in the success that we've had with some of our projects or some of our contracts.
I was just going to say that it is reassuring that there's still opportunities with contractors or contracting agencies, given
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic that we're in right now with so many cuts and everything else. But yeah, so I just sent you all a LinkedIn invite, and Steve, I did send you my resume. So
Appreciate it.
thank you for sharing that information.
Yeah. What are we seeing on the client side? We are seeing more of the feds themselves taking the deferred resignation plan. It is still happening. There are some government efficiency conversations that are being had with other agencies. A lot of our contracts have been kind of shielded in the past from administrative changes simply because uh, a lot of the funding for energy has been appropriated previously, so they don't necessarily have to worry about the funds. But we're seeing, at least from as a contractor, that they're the feds that are eligible, and it's beneficial for some of them, right? They can get a pension, they can take the retirement, and they can get paid for a certain amount of time, and then go into the private sector and work for a contractor. We also found that valuable for folks who have badges. So there are certain agencies that it's tougher to get badged in just because of their process. So for folks who are within a certain agency, it's easier for us, what we call flipping a badge, as Gino probably has heard. You flip the badge from one contract to the other, knowing that it's still within the department, so you don't have to go through all the layers of approval for that.
And cloud or DevOps positions in Ohio. Can you think of anything, Steve? I know we sometimes get cloud or DevOps positions that are remote. There are
Yes.
few
Yeah.
far between as well. I would
There are
say
fewer, at least on your contract. Yeah. Most of the opportunities that we have for cloud and DevOps, it fluctuates. Right now, we just hired somebody on the cloud. That person is remote. They're going to be supporting a lot of our clients all over the place. So I would say, please just keep an eye out. Let's not think about location on everything, right? And if you're ever unsure, you can ask us and we'll be as frank as we can. Anything, now, I had to run upstairs and get a collared shirt on prior to this, so I looked presentable.
I Edgewater shirt.
There you go.
I guess for me, you know, and if people do have more questions, certainly they can post them in there. Steve, Carla, any closing remarks that you feel like, hey, we didn't hit on a certain topic that you both feel would be important, or anything for those in attending, or those watching the recording at a later date that you feel like they should know, but wanted to give you both the platform to be able to wrap it up, and if you had any closing remarks.
Mike,
So I was going to say, so Your Honor. Not a different kind of closing argument. Go ahead.
my closing remarks would be, because I know that everyone has seen the news. We're all here and, understanding what the climate is of the federal government. I know it looks daunting and that they are getting rid of more jobs than that they are creating. However, I guess it would be good to say that they are still hiring people, even though it doesn't seem that way. And we are a testament to that this year. I've hired at least 20 people plus. I mean, I don't have the exact statistics, but for sure. Um, the federal government is still hiring. They're still hiring on contracts. They still need people, despite how it might appear right now, from kind of the surface level of everything. Don't lose hope, and especially within IT, try and get experience as well as education. It's great that everybody is advancing, themselves personally, as well as professionally by getting that, but try and get, dress for the job you want, be in the space that you want. Everyone has bills and responsibilities that we all need to, take care of in our real lives. But try to get IT adjacent if IT is truly the job that you want to have, so you can gain that experience to go where you want to be, would be my closing remarks. And just because you don't have it today or you haven't done that today, right? There is time. It is never too late to start, if you want to, and there are plenty of opportunities. All you need is the chance and the opportunity. Would be my
I
closing.
think that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that we've reiterated as a mantra internally has been, we are all in this together. So the expectation that we all had as an organization has been changed by circumstances that are beyond our control. However, we have really taken the effort to all be in it together in order to expand. We're actually investing in resources and in specialties, and delivering that to listen to what our customers need. So whatever it is now, we're all in here, we're all working hard, and we're all chasing the same. And you know that you're not alone. So I think that would be the message that I'd like to share.
Awesome. And we certainly appreciate you both jumping on and sharing some fantastic insight. I know for me, you had touched on it. These sessions, if you get up and you're just presenting the entire time, and there isn't that back and forth interaction, those can be dry, and they're not as informative as people think. So we certainly appreciate you all just opening it up and allowing us to ask questions. And I think that's where, people get a lot more information that way. They get the information that they're seeking, and it's right to the point. So we certainly appreciate you all, your willingness to jump on and share that insight, and especially those closing remarks as far as those words of encouragement. I know Linda just raised her hand. Linda, I don't know if you had a question that you wanted to ask before we wrapped up.
Button by accident. Sorry.
No worries. I did also see that Ryan asked a question. In our experience, when someone is relocating to accept an opportunity at our company, do we help with relocating as far as finding a place to stay? So the answer is kind of, and the reason is because everybody has different needs and wants of what they're looking for that's important to them about places to live. Especially for me, when I'm talking to folks about relocation, I will tell them maybe some of the nicer areas or places closer to where they are working. Proximity sometimes is everything, and that's also true on the East Coast. not just where I am, but I'll share the some of the nicer, of course, safer areas for people to be relocating versus, um, telling someone you should go go live here, right? It's very more suggestions based on the local area from that perspective. And like I said, from relocating, we don't provide relocation, but we do provide a sign-on bonus that would help with relocation depending on what someone needs and right their specific situation.
And we do in one specific case, Ryan, for the others, we do work in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I say Carlsbad and everybody's excited about Southern California, but then I say New Mexico. And they're like, where's that? It's in the southwestern or southeastern part of the state. And we actually have ambassadors, right, that will take that person under their consideration to assist them when they're in town, to look at places and encourage other places and why you might want to consider here. So we do that because that area is is fairly remote, and it's a close-knit group. So it helps when folks are considering navigating to a new location that they're making the right choice. And we would give that definitely consideration anywhere. You know, if you're moving to Pocatello, Idaho, we've got folks who are native Idahoans. I hope I said that and didn't offend anyone, but they would be a better resource than Steve or Carla to tell you about Pocatello.
And I see
Again, we're in this together.
We are in this together. And Carlsbad is nice, depending on what you like and what is valuable to you, right? There's a place for everyone, a job for everyone. And as far as industry certificates, we like both. We like, a clearance as you get farther up in the federal space. You will need to get a clearance. Typically, I do have some higher level folks who don't have one because they don't work on classified, materials. And industry certificates can always help you. They are always relevant. They are very relevant within the IT field. Even before I worked here at Edgewater, they do not go out of style. If you have an older one, depending on where you are at in your career, where you're grandfathered in, and you don't have to do the continuing education, they are still as relevant as they were then.
You say that so confidently. However, you made fun of the fact that I had a flip phone.
Let's have that talk. His flip phone broke last week, guys. Like me and my other coworker, Skip, make so much fun of him because we're like, "Oh, you're on your bad credit phone again. You need to pay that bill. You need to figure it out." And last week it broke, and he was like, "Don't say a word, either of you." And we were like, "Okay."
I can't win.
But yes, see, we
That
have
was
fun.
recorded for your.
I have it documented.
As our other
You
colleague would say,
you opened yourself to the scrutiny.
Yes,
okay? Now
yes,
and it is recorded in time forever.
I've got to figure out a new way to hang up on you. I just can't close my phone anymore.
Oh, look, your bad credit phone is working again. We keep making fun of him because he doesn't have an iPhone, but just kidding. Samsungs are fine too. Any other questions for us? Sorry, we like making fun of Steve sometimes.
Sometimes means all the time, which is absolutely fine. We enjoy it. We really do enjoy working together.
Thank you guys so much for attending our session. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Please reach out to us. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Enjoy the weather wherever you are.
Yeah, Steve, Carla, thank you so much for jumping in and sharing these insights. We certainly appreciate it. Just a reminder to everybody, session was recorded. That will be sent out. So if you want to go back and reference anything, that was a ton of information, all fantastic information. Go back, rewatch the recording and get that. Also, I just put it back in the chat. Questionnaire should take you no more than 2 minutes. We're constantly seeking your feedback, so we would appreciate it. But yes, Steve, Carla, thank you so much for jumping in, and hopefully we can build some connections here. That's the goal.
Okay, but thank you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. Take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.